What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Transfer Talk. After the Wolves defeat, we need to talk about transfers, and there's lots of rumours suggesting players leaving the club and also joining. But before we start the video, make sure to hit the like button if you do enjoy the video and subscribe to not miss out on future content. And one last thing, if you're a graphic designer who can help the channel, make sure to DM me on Twitter at @DRConas or Back of the Nest on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because I need your help. But enough of that, let's get into the video. So let's kick it off with Max Meyer. We talked about him in previous Transfer Talk episodes. Me and Hambo talked about his contract situation, but now Roy Hodgson has spoken about his future, and he said the following: I wouldn't be surprised if Max is knocking on the door to move on. If that's the case, I would have to reluctantly agree he's not being given the chances here to show what he can do as he would like. If someone is going to give him that chance, it would have to be considered. After Roy's comments, reports came out in Germany suggesting that the midfielder could end up in Germany ahead of the start of next season. Cologne are looking for midfielder reinforcements for next summer, and Meyer is one of the players the club are tracking at the moment. So we already had this conversation with Hambo when talking about the contract discussions with Max Meyer, suggesting, should we renew? Should we let him go? I wasn't really too sure. If Roy's staying on, I thought it would be right for him to move on because he's not getting the chances. As Roy has said, I'm not giving him the appropriate chances for him to prove himself because he clearly doesn't fit his system. And, he hasn't really kicked on at Palace. Personally, I feel like he hasn't played at the right system. And, the argument can be made. I've said this before. The argument can be made that even if he hasn't played at the right system, is Eze playing in the right system right now, playing out wide? No, he isn't, but he's still way more effective than Meyer was. So there are people suggesting that Max is simply not good enough for the Premier League. And I understand your point of view, but then also I would have liked to see him play centrally. He might not be good as Eze, but he probably could have had a more of an impactful role at Palace if he was played in more central areas. But it just didn't work out. And he's only 25 years old as well. So he's still got a long career ahead of him. And it makes no sense for us to keep him on. I would like it if we moved on, and it seems like he could be going to Germany next summer. Let me know what you think about the Max Meyer rumours. Is it the right time for us to move on from him? I think so because, it just hasn't worked out. So moving on to the next rumour, this is a player that we've all seen at Palace not too long ago, Jenk Tosun, which according to Football has been asked for by the Eagles. So Football do go on to explain that the Everton striker remains the favourite name at Besiktas, his old club, but the player's wage demands are burning hands. The only reason why Jenk would come back to Palace is if there was reassurances that he would play first-team football. And the reason for that is because he wants to be in the Turkish side next summer and playing at the Euros, which right now, at the current state, the chances of that is very unlikely because he's not playing at Everton, which is not surprising. And let's be real, can he come to Palace and we can offer him first-team football week in, week out? I'm not too sure. We got Wilf up there in this new system, and we got Christian Benteke as well. So they're our first two striking options. And then next up, you got Michy Batshuayi, which is where things get interesting, because if we got Michy in the squad, why do we need Jenk? I understand that Michy's been struggling and he hasn't really kicked on since his return back to the club, but it makes no sense for Jenk to come back whilst Michy's here as well, who had a bad game against Wolves as well. You saw it in the second half. There was a moment where Jairo put him in behind and then he just hit his back. It pretty much sums up Michy's time at the club. It hasn't worked out like it has first time around. I don't think the new system is helping him. But unless Michy goes, I don't see Jenk coming. I can see him going back to Turkey, but not coming to a club like Palace, which we can't really offer him the game time that he needs. I said it in the previous Transfer Talk episodes, and here we are once again. We're going to be talking about Mamadou Sakho this January transfer window. And there were reports suggesting that Sakho was on the verge of joining Nice on Thursday, I believe. But of course, that didn't happen because Sakho ended up playing in the Wolves game, which was very surprising to me. But the Nice president said the following as well regarding the Sakho rumor, saying that, there is a journalist who puts out names like that from time to time. The minimum you can do is to call us and ask us the question. There are names who come out. We do not know how. So we went from Sakho going to Nice, that it was going to be announced, to the Nice owner or the president saying that he doesn't have a clue what the journalists are talking about, to Sakho starting an FA Cup game on Friday night, which was a major shock for me because we've seen it. Sakho hasn't really played for Palace in a long time, and it was good to see him starting next to James Tompkins, of course, because their partnership was great. But I wasn't really too sure about the Sakho to Nice rumours when I last talked about it on Transfer Talk episodes, because they got Saliba from Arsenal. But, you know, it was good to see Tompkins and Sakho start, as I said, but he got injured. You know, major shock there. He got injured once again and had to be brought off at half-time. And now I'm not too sure what's going to happen in regards to transfers now. Hopefully it's not a long-term injury. Hopefully it's something minor. But it seemed like, I think Roy said this, correct me if I'm wrong, but Roy said something about a muscle injury potentially, that he was feeling something. So fingers crossed it's nothing too serious. But Sakho went from joining another club, being on virtual joining another club, to playing for Palace and getting injured once again. Surprise, surprise. But you know what isn't a surprise is that Ozan Tufan rumours are back once again. And they're a bit like the Babacar rumours that we saw 3 to 4 years ago, which appeared every single window. But apparently, Fenerbahce have rejected the bids they have received from Palace and West Brom for the midfielder Tufan. It has been claimed in Turkey. Palace and West Brom reportedly tabled bids worth around 10 million euros with Fenerbahce for Tufan on Wednesday as they ramped up the pursuit of the midfielder. But the Turkish daily Takvim have said that Fenerbahce have knocked back both offers and are demanding more money before agreeing to sell him of around 15 million to 20 million euros. So the last time we talked about Tufan rumours, I think it was due to replacing Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he was going to join us and play as a fullback, but he's more suited to be a midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, and Fenerbahce are not going to sell him for cheap. Even though they're about to announce Mr. Ozil, he still fits. Ozan Tufan and Ozil still fit in the same system in their 4-2-3-1 that they do play. So it won't be cheap, and I understand it. He's only 25 years old. He's very talented, and we do need another midfielder because, as you can see, we've got an aging squad, especially in midfield. And apart from Gyro, we haven't really got any other youngsters who can potentially fit into that midfield. So we desperately need that area. But 15 to 20 million euros. Now, I'm not too sure if Palace will be paying that type of money for him this window, because we do need other areas that I feel like we need to strengthen before the midfield. Midfield is it's still up there as one of the areas that we do need to strengthen. But, as a right midfielder, we need another right midfielder. Once again, we saw it, Jordan Ayew playing on the right-hand side ahead of Andros Townsend. It doesn't work. He's not the same Jordan Ayew we've seen in previous seasons. Yes, he's done a great job, but we need better players out wide. So we need to focus on that area more than the midfield. But yeah, 15, 20 million euros. I don't know if there's much truth to it, but I guess once the Ozil deal is announced at Fenerbahce, we'll see if Fenerbahce are more willing to sell him. I don't think so. I think until the right price comes, they're going to be holding on to him. But then again, if this midfielder leaves of James McCarthy, then maybe we go in for Tufan more aggressively, because according to the 90-minute football, Newcastle United are reportedly preparing to make an offer this month for Palace midfielder McCarthy. When McCarthy has started at the start of the season, I was actually very surprised by his performances, because he actually put in a solid shift, I thought, before he got injured and was out for a long time. So I was a bit hurt when he got injured because, as I said, this last summer, I wanted him out. I wanted him gone to Celtic because I don't feel like he would be in a massive loss. And then yesterday's game, once he returned back to the starting 11, he didn't really put in a solid shift, but who else really did apart from Jack Butland? But yes, Newcastle now. In the summer, it was Celtic and Newcastle. And I feel like the rumours suggesting that McCarthy just doesn't like living in London makes sense, because all the clubs he's been rumoured with have been up north. And, I don't blame the guy. If you don't like London, then just like I might not like living in North. So it's best for him and his family to move back up there and, and enjoy his football elsewhere. And I don't think McCarthy would be a massive loss as well. I don't think it's a case of we sell McCarthy, we have to get Ozan Tufan, because McCarthy doesn't have a role like that at Palace for us to urgently replace him. But interesting that we have Tufan rumours and McCarthy rumours coming up at the same time. But as I said, I don't think there's much correlation between the two of them. Now, moving on to the final rumour, Torquay United have won the race to sign Crystal Palace striker Rob Street. According to the Football Insider, the runaway National League leaders have agreed to terms of a loan deal for the rest of the season. And I just want to say good luck to Rob Street at National League side Torquay, because he has put in a solid shift for Palace under 23s, and now it's going to be a good time to go and prove himself elsewhere. So fingers crossed he has a successful spell there. And that's it for today, guys. We ended a long transfer talk episode, lots of rumours. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the rumours of Sakho, Max Meyer and all of them. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, up the Palace.